Okay, welcome back. On the last assignment, you might remember, right towards the end of the lecture, I told you about that we want our programs to have comments, documentation in them. These are like little notes that you're going to put in your program that help me understand what you're doing, help you understand what you're doing, and so on. They have a number of different tools. This is part of the broader idea of making your programs not ugly and not impossible for me to sort through what you're doing. What does a beautiful C program have? Well, for one thing, they will have nice indenting. Now, we haven't yet done anything like loops and so on where indenting is part of the strategy as to how they work, but you want your program to be, it's going to look like an outline when you're making a big complicated program. We'll get there with time. Your programs also should have plenty of white space. When there's like one part of your program that's doing one thing, feel free to put a few blank lines between that and the next part of your program. You're not killing trees, we're not printing these programs, we're not doing anything like that. There's no reason not to have plenty of white space in your programs. But the tricky thing, the one that's important, is making sure your programs have these comments or documentation. So like I said here, you need to make sure your program has nice indenting. Now so far, everything that we've done has been outside of a loop or anything like that, where there hasn't been reasons to indent in further. So right now, everything should be at most like one indentation in. Typically that is what we do, is we use one tab in for like the parts of the main program. And again, there's no harm whatsoever in having white space between the different parts of the program. I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't have that. Comments are the one that's a little bit tricky for people to know what to do. Comments are like little post-it notes that you're leaving in your program. They're going to help you know what different parts of the program are doing, and they're going to help me figure out what's wrong with your program when something is wrong. They're going to help me grade your program and so on. Comments themselves don't do anything. They are parts of the program that don't execute. But they help you understand what's going on. They help other people understand. I mean, documenting programs is a big part of what a professional programmer does, because they're going to be sharing their code with other people. The symbols that you're going to use for a comment are /* and */. They kind of remind me of those HTML tags that we used in earlier this semester. /* and */ are like the beginning and end of a comment. Everything in between /* and */, the compiler is going to ignore. Those are going to be notes that are there for you. Now, typically, one of the main things that we do with comments is to create what's called a comment block at the top of the program. At the top of the program, you're going to actually be telling me things like who wrote this program, what the program does, what known bugs there are in the program, what you did special in your program to impress me, and so on. So like, here's an example. If I had a little stupid program right here like this, and I didn't include like the pound include statements and so on, but I just had a little comment block at the top, see the little /* and the */, that means everything in between there is just a comment. The compiler is going to ignore that stuff. And in there I said things like what the name of my program is, who wrote it, what bugs there are, what you've added to the program. Any information you think I should have, that's a great place to have it up there. That's a common use of comments. It's also commonly used to put comments in your program to describe what each block of your code is going to do. You don't need to write a comment about every line of your program. That would be not helpful. But like, maybe typically, maybe there's a group of 3 or 4 lines of code that are doing some calculation for you. Okay, a little block of comments above there that explains these next 5 lines are computing the saturation vapor pressure in grams per kilogram, given the temperature in Fahrenheit and the dew point in Fahrenheit. That would be useful information to have. A little block of information, or this doesn't seem to work and I haven't found the bug. That would be a useful comment to have. So like, for example, here in this little piece of code I gave you here, I'm declaring some variables, and then notice I'm actually mentioning there in a comment, prompt the user for input and then scan in the temperature. And then I actually do those things. Okay, again, don't go nuts, but you do have to have a fair number of comments in your program, to get full credit. Another really handy thing to do with comments is using comments to temporarily remove code you might want to put back again. I mean, like for example, in this piece of code I have right here, maybe for some reason I don't want that line printf anymore, but I might want it back. If I delete it, it's gone. But if I just put comments around it, the compiler will ignore it. It won't be doing anything with that code. But if I ever want it back, I can just take the comments out, the right word is uncomment that, and then that piece of code is back. Very common thing to do. There is a second way to make comments in C. Instead of /* and */, another strategy is //. Slash slash is another way to make a comment where from there to the end of the line, that the rest of that is all a comment. So like, for example, you might just have a comment in there that's just slash slash and then some notes or something. Or like, for example, often we'll do something like put some information, like in this case I have pi equals 3.0, and then I wrote slash slash bad approximation. In other words, you know, like I'm putting a little note there that tells me something about that line right there. I mean, that's kind of a little handy. You can't think of it as like a little post-it note you just stuck on that line of the program or something like that. Now, from now on, your programs have to have lots of comments. Okay, you don't have to comment every line or something like that, but you do have to be developing the kind of habits that an employer is going to want to see. Anybody who's part of a team running programs, you know, doing research or whatever, they're going to need to have enough comments in there that other people can look at your program and figure out what it's doing. You should look through your textbook to see some suggestions about appropriate ways to comment your code. Okay, I'm going to bust out one more time here into Chesapeake, and we're going to just put some comments and some codes so you can understand what's going on.